Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Webflow for front-end developers. Today we're going to be talking about two things. One is symbols, how to use symbols and what symbols are, as well as color variables. We'll have a little color variable thing at the end there just to kind of tack it on since we didn't cover it in the last one. So the thing I'm referring to is this little 3D cube here called symbols. And really what symbols are a way to effectively take and wrap a bunch of DOM and CSS in a block and reuse it along across pages. So the most common use case, what is this? It's going to be a global nav or a global footer. But it can be extended a bit further than that. I'm going to show you kind of how to do that. So what I've got in the middle of the page here is a basic 3-column layout. And so it's following the bootstrap container row column. You know, we've got a combo class for the row and column and some text in each one of those. And so this is the case that if you've got a layout that's going to be leveraging 3-column layouts a lot, maybe centered text or not, it's kind of nice to start from a certain amount of DOM that you're going to be reusing all the time. Now, it is pretty fast to create this every time, right? We showed with the Command E key, you can nest 3 divs pretty quickly or use copy paste and do that. But there's even a faster way, which is through symbols. So effectively what we want to do first is select what divs or blocks of content we want to create a symbol from. So I'm going to actually select the parent here that just is called container. And what it's going to do is grab everything within it, everything nested in it to create the symbol. So once I've selected, I can create new symbol, and I'm going to call this 3-column. And so what that's going to do is make this little instance block of that. And then if I go back into symbols now, I'll see that this little block exists, and I can drag it on the page, and I can even use Command E and start typing 3, and sure enough, it's going to show up there. So okay, this is great. So now I can add 3-column layouts wherever it is. If I've got a really rigid grid and I'm using 3-column layouts all the time that are using a certain class structure, I can do that. Now, of course, you know, given we've got the word column in all 3 of these and we're going to be swapping these out, the easiest thing to do from there is to right-click and go to Unlink Instance. And what that's going to do is allow you to customize the content and the containers and everything that's in there. Because everything we change in one of these linked instances is going to change throughout. So you see how I've bolded that, or I can nest a div in there and it's going to change across the board. But if I hit unlink, then I can do whatever I need to do with this one. Let's say there's going to be an image in this column and different text and everything else. So I wanted to show that first, is that you can make your Legos, your specialized building blocks for your site very quickly and almost use this as your, you could almost use this, I've seen this used as almost like a global style pattern guideline. I wouldn't go as far as creating like all your different custom text headers and all that. We generally have a dedicated page for that kind of thing. But if it's components where you've got a lot of nested elements, I think it makes sense to use this in that manner. So there's a little bit extra power that can be added to this, which is if I hit the little pencil to edit the symbol, there's something called override fields, which is a pretty cool concept. So if I add one here, what I can say is there's different types. There could be images or links. These are like URLs or rich text. But if I create an override, I can actually call this, I'm going to call column 1 text. And we can insert some default text in here. I'll just do that so you can see what this looks like. So then what happens is I can link it to this particular point in the symbol. So I've selected this bold text, and now I'm going to, I've selected this text block, and now I'm going to select this little purple plus icon. And this is going to link it to that symbol field. So I'll show you what that looks like now. So all the instances, when I click on them, are going to have now this column 1 text. And if I change it here, this is the first column. You'll see that only the first column, even though these are linked, these are both the same symbol, only the text in the first column is highlighted here. Just the second. And so no matter how many times I add this, whether I copy and paste or whatever, I can effectively change this to be what I want. And now I can go further. If I said, you know, actually it's the case that we've got multiple, I might add another one here, call it column 2 text. And then all I have to do is link this to the purple symbol. Here we go. Whoops, I kind of named that different, but you can see how this kind of works. And so now I have access to this second link. So if it's a component that is being reused, like maybe a newsletter form or something where the background's going to change on certain pages or certain variables, you can effectively do that and customize it both for editors and yourself. So again, you're getting the best of both worlds, which is the redundancy in the blocks as well as in the CMS for the editor. The second thing I wanted to show you guys pretty quickly here is working with color variables in the CSS. There is a way to set this through any place that you're adding color. Right now I've got a background color on my column so you guys can see sort of what's happening. But if I actually select on the color I've created, you'll see that I can effectively open a palette that allows me to change the alpha channel and the color and things like that, which is updating globally. But I can also add, actually name and add this as a variable. So they call them swatches. I think that might be the official term, but it's going to bring in its best guess of what we should call this. We can call it anything, brand blue. And if I create that, then I can reuse that in the system anywhere their color can be added. So I'll have now access to that in the color for fonts or in the color of borders. So I just wanted to show that from a speed perspective. You can name color variables as well as a way to speed up your workflow. So that's all for today. Symbols are really cool. You guys, for our team, like I said, we use Bootstrap a lot. So sometimes we'll start with a bunch of symbols for 2-column or flex grids or certain components so we can build really quickly and unlink certain areas. And then there are instances where we can do a global nav or footer where we're maybe on certain pages changing some of the language. Okay, everyone, that concludes today's episode. Make sure to put a comment or a like on this one if you like the content, or let me know if you'd like to see something different. We're going to continue to walk through the interface through the lens of front-end development and speed in your workflows. So that's it for today. You want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. We'll see you next time.